Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let's chat about full coverage versus light coverage. Let's first break it down to determine what exactly light coverage is with makeup and what full coverage is. Light coverage. Light coverage is when you put a very small amount of foundation over your face and you're really only trying to minimize the discoloration in your face and to mellow out the excess colors. So if I were to put a light coverage on this side of my face, you would still see my skin shining through, but you would see less of the distractions, less of this, less of that, less of this, less of this. Also with light coverage, you're not going to really see a lot of makeup texture. Anything we put on our face makeup wise has some level of opacity, which means that it also has texture. We can't get away from that. But the lighter the coverage is, the less texture you're going to have. Where on the other hand, if we were to do full coverage on this side, I am looking for a flat color, a blank canvas if you will. I want to put makeup on every spot to make sure that none of my skin shines through. I want to make sure I have created the least amount of variance in color so that I can add on to that. There are two main things that make light coverage what it is and full coverage what it is. It's the tools that you use and how you apply the makeup. Very important. I could put a ton of makeup on this face, and if I do not apply it the right way, then it's going to wipe off. It's going to cake. It's going to look really nasty in the end. So it really depends on how you apply it as well as the tool brush that you're using. So today I thought I would show you a light coverage side versus a full coverage side. And you can see the difference in how I apply it, how it looks, and then you can kind of get a feel for what your favorite kind of thing is. I'm going to use two brushes, light coverage side and full coverage side. You're going to notice a big difference in these brushes. This one, the light coverage, whenever you pick a light coverage brush, it's going to be a very light, fluffy, a less dense brush. The bristles are loose and it's just going to overall just kind of feel like a feather when you're putting it on. This one is a full coverage brush. And you'll notice how dense the bristles are. They're very tightly packed, very close together. It's going to pick up more product. This one also is double-ended. It's got a smaller end. That's really great for the inner corners, just like the other brush, and great for contour. This is the buff brush, blend brush. These are the two tools I'm going to be using for my makeup today. The second thing that is important when applying full coverage versus light coverage is how you apply it. On this side, I'm going to be applying my light coverage side in a fluffing, pumping motion. It's going to be these little swirlies, okay? You're going to see this. In my eye, I'm going to do a little bit of pressing with a little bit of buffing around it, and you're going to notice just how little makeup I use, as well as how fast it is. On the full coverage side, when you are applying your full coverage makeup, you're going to do a stippling motion like this. No swiping, no swirling. Otherwise, you're going to rub the makeup off and it's not going to work out for you, okay? So you're going to stipple just like this, okay? And same with the inner eye, you're going to go in like this. So we're going to do stippling and pressing with full coverage, and you're going to do swirling and pumping with light coverage. First things first, always prime your face. My face is primed, it's ready to go. I use a setting spray by Saint. The makeup I'm going to be using is my all-in-one compact. These are my highlight colors, which they basically act as a foundation color. So this is my main color, my brightening color, my contour, my bronzer, my lip and cheeks. Now I'm going to go to the full coverage side. So you'll see a difference between this side and the no makeup. So light coverage, if I get really close, you can still see some skin. You can still see a little bit of discoloration. I put very, very minimal amount, but just enough to kind of even it out for me to where it makes me feel a little bit more fresh. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Full coverage side, let's do it. I'm going to go in and do that pressing, stippling motion on the full coverage side with my buff brush. I'm going to start with the large side. Now I'm going to go and blend with one of my blending brushes. This is the blush and bronzer brush. Now remember, when you do full coverage, don't blend too much because you do not want to erase the work that you've just put in. So I'm using the very, very fluffy end of the brush, and it's going to meld the contour, the blush, and the bronzer all together and marry them and still provide me with that awesome full coverage that I'm looking for. I'm going to push that contour in a little bit. You notice with my contour, I'm not swiping it in or swirling it out, I'm just kind of pressing it in. So again, I'm keeping that coverage that I want. And I'm going to do the same thing with this side. With some powder. And you'll notice on the light coverage side how I used the powder from my second layer for my under eye. I would do the same thing on this side, just to avoid like a lot of powder being under there. But you could definitely use a loose powder. You can see how great the coverage is, how you can just get this flawless look, whereas natural, you can still see my freckles poking through, you can still see some discoloration. And that is going to be the difference between full coverage and light coverage makeup. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for being here.